question. Do my fellas run this mother? Do my fellas run this mother? Do my thugs run this mother? Do my dogs run this mother? Do my ladies run this mother? Do my girls run this mother? Do my ladies run this mother? Do my girls run this mother? Who run the world? Girls. Who run the world? Girls. Who run the world? Girls. We run the world. Girls. Girls. We run this mother. Yeah. Girls. We run this mother. Yeah. Girls. We run this mother. Yeah. Girls. We run this mother. Here we go. Who run the world? Girls. Who run the world? Girls. Who run the world? Who run the world? Sing it. Who run this mother? Who run the world? Who run the world? Sing it. Who run this mother? Who run this mother? Who run this mother? Who run this mother? Who run the world? Yeah, ladies. Put your fists up. Sing it. Some of them men think they freak just like we do, but no they don't. Make your check come and they neck. Disrespect us, no they won't. Boy, don't even try to touch this. Boy, this bitch is crazy.
This is a man's world. This is a man's world. But it wouldn't mean nothing, nothing without a woman or a girl. You see, man made the car to take us over the road. Man made the train.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to another form exciting Frisco Girls Talk show. And my name is Tony Akinyeri. I'm the executive producer of Frisco Girls Talk, and we're so happy to see all of you here today. Welcome. Well, as you can see, I still have on my 4th of July shirt, and I'm never going to take off this shirt because I just love the American flag and American colors.
Now you're an American.
I guess so. Yes, I am. And these are the colors of freedom and unity. Today, we have with us Sanjay Mehta. And to Sanjay's left, we have Tony Sawyer of TS Executive Consulting Services. And my good friend, Mr. Deepak Mehta with Preston Dental Services. Let's get on the whole
After man made everything,
This show is very
everything.
special because Frisco Girls Talk Show would like to give a nice and warm welcome to Frisco Men's Talk
To
Show.
buy.
Thank you. The role of the Men's Talk Show is also to inform,
One little thing without
inspire men of all ages, not just in Frisco but across the world. What this show is about, Frisco Girls Talk, asking men questions. And the men are here today to answer the questions. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and present and introduce Tony Sawyer one more time.
without a woman.
Gentlemen,
Very much. And I also want to thank our special guest, our new co-host, Deepak, and our special guest, his brother, Sanjay. This is really a huge opportunity for us, Frisco women, Girls Talk, because we don't normally get the guys up front where we burn. Okay, we're not going to burn. Anyway, we're just going to go and ask them certain questions like, what do you really think a man's role is in this world today? Times have changed. Women have 2 jobs now, taking care of the man, proper bacon, as well as, just being responsible for making sure their home is okay too. So what do you really think I've known for quite some time. So I just think they both have different perspective, and I think it would be a great opportunity for us to just shout some things out. Like for instance, Deepak, who's the boss in your house?
Well, first of all, thank you, Tony, all the work behind the scenes. Thanks to the audience for coming to this episode here. You know what? When the Frisco Girls Talk decides to create a Frisco Men's Talk, that's a testament to the spirit of learning. That's a testament to the evolution that is there, at least with these women, but in terms of what I think is there with the modern day woman period, okay? Why is that important? Because if you don't evolve, you're beautifully equipped to live in a world that doesn't exist anymore, okay? Now, a short while ago, I was doing some filing and some paperwork, and I came across my birth certificate a couple days ago, and Anita's birth certificate, my wife. I was born in Bangalore, India. My wife, Anita, was born in Lusaka, Zambia. I was taking these documents to file them properly and keep them safe, and I just looked at it. It's on old parchment paper, basically. They don't have the modern paper we have over here with the special security thing and thick paper.
Card.
They're just flimsy old pieces of paper. That's all they had back then, okay? Now I'm 46 years old. It wasn't that long ago. But one thing struck me. On the birth certificate, obviously it has my name. They made a note whether it was a live birth or a stillbirth, because back then many births didn't result in a live birth. Over here we take it for granted, you know? Birth in a hospital over here, most likely it will be a live birth. There, in other countries, India, Africa, there are numerous births that are not live births, okay? But this is what was interesting. It had name of the child, father's name, mother's name, father's occupation. There was no line for mother's occupation. Why would there be? This was on my birth certificate in India, and my wife's was in Africa. Why would there be? Because there was no women working. There was no reason for a woman to have an occupation. So we look at it today and think, wow, that's a big thing. But back then, it was so institutionalized, even the birth certificate didn't find it important to make a note of it. So evolution is the key thing here. So my hat's off to Frisco Girls Talk to create Frisco Men's Talk. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't exist. So
Okay, so who's the boss in your house?
it's a joint effort. It's a joint effort. I think that's
That's
what
what I
it
wanted to hear.
has to be, because otherwise you haven't evolved. Now, you know, what's the role of the man? It can be whatever you want it to be, okay? But there are consequences. If you decide to be the man in the traditional sense, etc., there are consequences to that. If you decide to be a partner, there are other consequences to that. So it's everybody's sort of individual decision.
So
but
it takes teamwork.
it should, I think, ideally.
It depends. Can I chime in here?
Sure.
Give a little different perspective.
And by the way, they're brothers.
And we are brothers.
Maybe introduce
3
yourself.
years younger than Deepak. I'm Sanjay Madhav, 42 years old.
Oh.
Married, divorced, 4 years, no kids, 2 dogs. They're like my kids.
I like
So even though my brother and myself were raised in the same household, similar values, same parents, obviously, we are at different stages of our life at this point. He's married, he has a wonderful daughter, a wonderful son, lives nearby here, single, divorced, wants no kids. Different perspective. I agree with my brother that it should be a partnership, but every couple looks at it from a different perspective. Some, like myself, will like it to be a 50-50 partnership. I personally, when I'm in a relationship, don't think I'm any more or less important than the female. We're both equally important. No one person is more important than the other.
So then your rules are like a lot different from his rules.
Well, that equal partnership and you're equally important works for me because I think it's showing respect for the other people, person and
Yes.
receiving respect. However, like I said earlier, different strokes for different folks. Some people like one individual to be more dominant, another person to be more submissive. One makes the decisions, one doesn't comment on certain things. When I was married to a very intelligent woman, very sound judgment, critical thinking skills, educated. If I were to make decisions in the household and not consult with her and seek her advice,
You wouldn't be happy.
I'm not taking advantage of a resource that I have there to contribute good information and help us as a couple make good decisions. But again, you have other households where The man wants to make the decisions and doesn't want the input from the wife, or vice versa. So it's different for every couple.
So are you saying that if I didn't want the grass cut on Monday, and you said it had to be cut on Tuesday, that would be the way it had to be?
Midnight.
But not in your home?
Not in mine. We would compromise, we would talk about the options and find out, why is there a difference of opinion and what's the best thing for the couple.
Well, can I add to that too?
Yes.
So it sounds like what you're saying is it should be, within each domestic unit, it should be equitable, not necessarily equal. For you, that means 50-50. For you, that means, as long as there's a division of labor, that's fair and that makes sense. Like, for example, the guy cuts the lawn. Okay, they agree on it, that's fair, that's kind of a no. But beyond that, you're saying, okay, you want it on Monday, he wants it on Tuesday. I think the key in situations like that is to go beyond the transaction and look at the underlying motivation.
So then you have to do it on Wednesday?
Well, no, why? The thing is, why does she want it on a Monday? Maybe there's some ladies event that comes to her house on Tuesday, so she wants the lawn to look good. Go deeper. Go deeper to the underlying motivation. The fact that it's Monday or Tuesday, and this happens in business negotiations all the time, that's the red herring. That's really not what's important, but that's what a lot of people fixate on and then argue over. I say go deeper, go to the underlying motivation.
I know that was very simple, what I just stated about the lawn, but you'd be surprised to some homes have issues about what day they can cut the grass and what day they can't. When I was married before, we always got our grass cut on Friday because we wanted it nice on the weekend. I know some homes only do it on a Monday. And these people actually fight about it. It sounds like, it's not brain surgery, but it's the idea of just saying, I want to put in my 2 cents.
Right.
It's just not all your decisions.
I think it also depends on the individuals that are part of the couple, how flexible their thinking is. Compromise obviously is a very important thing when you're in a relationship.
Yes.
Are you both willing to compromise? I've found it's usually not a 50-50 situation in terms of each person is putting in an equal share to what they're getting, equally compromising. There is always someone who's kind of compromising more, giving a little more, someone else who's compromising less,
So
taking a
who
little
gives more
bit
and who
more.
gives less?
Well, it's like Deepak said, it's not necessarily equal, but it's equitable. So each party involved there is okay with the arrangement. They're okay with it. They can live with
Have you
it.
not ever heard the term yes dear?
Of course I have.
That means whatever she says is supposed to happen.
Yes, dear.
Yes, dear.
Yes.
That's good. You get an A for
I
that.
could be trained to do this.
It's like rolling over, you do it. But the bottom line to the whole thing is teamwork. And that's not only in your career, in your home, which church do you attend, what's the religion going to be. This is a huge topic. This can really destroy a marriage or a friendship. So, again, I asked you, what are the rules? Or are there rules?
Well, my founding principle for having a relationship move forward, kind of add to what you said, is partnership. It's partnership. When you think of partnership in a marriage or in a business or any other capacity, you're thinking of two people.
But don't someone have to be the boss?
Well,
Someone has to be in charge.
you could have two people making decisions. One ultimately makes the final decision on one topic, someone on another topic that they're better equipped to make the decision on. But the point is they consult each other. There's no decision without the other person at least being made aware of what the decision is going to be. But when I think partnership, I think working as a team. And I'll give you an example.
Okay.
I like for my relationships to be partnerships, working as a team. We are two people. I mean, if you're raising children, Deepak can speak to this, it's even more critical.
Yes.
You must have a united front as a team to rear those children.
So
in
who
a very consistent
determines if the child gets time out, or if they just get, okay, go ahead.
Just a couple of things. You can be the boss on different subject areas. Like, for example, maybe some things relating to my wife's expertise or her real love, like gardening, for example. I'm not really interested in gardening. I can appreciate flowers in the garden and all that, but I don't really relish the idea of going out in the sun and digging up stuff and all that. That's not me.
I don't either.
So when she says she wants to buy these flowers and do this and do that, You're the boss of that. I totally relinquish that to you. Yes, you are the boss. So, but then some other area that I'm really knowledgeable about, like for example, I've decided that, you know, I have 2 children. A daughter who's 8, a daughter who's 11, son who's 8. I have decided to virtually give up my career and as much as I need to be there for them, okay? So I've decided, you know, 15-year period of my life, not a big chunk of my life, hopefully, depending on how long I live, but give it up for the sake of the children. So I do all their activities, all their education. They're not homeschooled, but they kind of are, because when they get home, we got all the lessons plans prepared, and we do a lot of work, and a lot of them. They're both in the gifted program.
So you're like a Mr. Mom.
Yeah, pretty much. So, you know, but see, so that's my area of expertise. So, you know, if I say our recommendation related to the kids' education, my wife will give her opinion, but she will defer to the fact that I've invested so much in researching and being with the children and intimately knowing their learning skills, modalities, etc., that when I feel like, okay, we need to go this direction, it's like, okay, that's good. And then when she does the gardening thing, I say, okay, that's good. So you can be the boss of your respective area, and that's the key to define what. Now, if you don't agree on it and you both want to be the boss on the same thing, that's when you better have verbal communication skills, big time, because that's when you know,
That's when you learn to watch the wings.
it's the battle that too, or it's the battle of the you know, irresistible force against the immovable object.
Oh, that was good, Deepak. That was good.
That speaks to that partnership that I was referring to, where you're really trying to work together as husband and wife for what's in the best interest of the family and the kids moving forward in the same direction. When I look at an example of my own parents growing up, there was a lot of arguing with my parents, and I oftentimes wondered, you know, are you really, are you just a source of frustration for each other, or is there a partnership and a cooperation that's going on? And I really feel like it needs to be more partnership, more cooperation, and if there's just a husband and a wife are just arguing a lot, I think you're not doing anything productive that's taking this relationship in a similar direction for the benefit of you both and your children, if you have children now.
Well, here's interesting too. Like, we grew up in a household when the father was very dictatorial, right? But yet the 2 sons, the product of that marriage, sitting right here, are not that way and don't believe in that. We keep talking about partnership, equality, equity. You know, I wonder what happened to us, why we didn't just follow the footsteps that were there, generation after generation.
Well, probably because times are different now. I mean, as you said earlier, times are different. You both were married to educated women, and you just thought differently about how things would be planned. Had those women been in, not in the corporate world or on their own business, then things may have been a little bit different. But they didn't just they took charge of their own lives. So. And they just kind of let you run it.
I think there's still a lot of relationships that are very comparable and one-sided. For me, I just realized at a younger age that relationship father had, dictatorial, as you said, the master of the household, so to speak, was not going to work for me. I like to tell them the balance of contribution from my spouse.
Well, again, I hate to say this word, but is it really a man's world? Still? From what you've said, it doesn't sound like it is.
Was it ever?
Well, no, it wasn't, but I'm going to tell you that. No, because really, I think before you saw the men who were presidents of the company, you saw the, oh, you have a question?
I do. I have a question. My question is, and I love the fact that we have men from 2 different lifestyles, a family man and a single man. I wanted to get some advice. You've been married and now you're single. Do you have advice for people in their 40s who are single and want to stay in the mix of everyday life instead of just sitting home and pretty much doing nothing? What do you suggest as far as how do you keep active, being motivated to participate in the world?
Why don't you repeat the question just to make sure?
It's a really good question. Repeat the question. So someone of our age and generation,
Yes.
in your 40s, single, you want to be active, you want to be meeting people.
Yes.
going out with an agenda to meet Mr. or Miss
No,
White.
not necessarily as far as dating, but just not being at home, doing
Just
nothing.
internet.
When you have a family, you're forced to be active. But if you don't have a family, you tend to sit home and be a wallflower.
I can totally relate to that. Yeah, I spend a lot of time at home and sometimes thinking I should go out, be more social. You know, it's a bit of a numbers game. If you're looking for the right woman, you've got to meet a lot
You
of
gotta
women.
watch Lifetime.
I got to watch Lifetime. I don't know if I would go that far, but maybe with the woman watch Lifetime. But it can be a challenge. You get lazy sometimes and just go, oh, it's work to go out. It's work to be social life, dating, get all dressed up, put on your best face. Be prepared to be that facade with a great, charming, charismatic guy with a sense of humor. It's a lot of work. Sometimes I'm talking myself out of it. You know, you could just stay home and watch a Netflix movie.
What keeps you motivated to
I
stay
think
active?
because at the end of the day, I don't want to be home and lonely. And as I get older, I don't want to be getting older and be lonely. I believe life is meant for two, and anything that you do is more enjoyable when you have the right companion to do that with. Traveling, eating out. I have found the conversations I have with women are key, important. Someone who's a good communicator, can have good conversations. Your Pilates class is not an hour-long conversation, it's maybe 7 minutes. You know, if you've read a book, if you've seen a movie, if you've seen a documentary, great, let's talk for an hour after dinner. And let something thought-provoking. That's very stimulating for me. I find intelligence sexy and attractive. That makes the female look more physically attractive to me. But I will tell you, I mean, I date a bit. It's not always easy to find the right qualities that you're looking for.
What are you looking for?
Really, at this point, in having been divorced, I'm looking for a long-term companionship. Looks are not the number one priority. Sex is not the number one priority. They're both fairly low down on the list. At least for me, I'm looking for intelligence, conversation, companionship, fun, sense of humor, laid back as I am, relaxed, go with the flow. I really would like to find someone with some sort of a spiritual sense of life. It's not all about career, it's not all about money, it's superficial. That would be fantastic. It's not all about the career and money, the superficial things. I mean, those things are fine at a certain level, but there needs to be more depth to the individual. Those are very key factors for me. Surprisingly, in this dating and playing are very hard to find. Usually against them, but I'm a hopeful romantic, so I'm continuing. But just as you said, I do live in Plano. But my advice to answer your question would really be the advice that others have given me. Don't go out looking to meet your soulmate because it's not going to happen when you are focused on it. Find the hobbies and things that interest you. What do you enjoy? Paint, yoga, ice skating, whatever it is. Just go out in public and do the things that you enjoy. Maybe you'll meet someone, maybe you won't. If you don't, you can't lose. You went out, you had fun, you got out of the house. You entertained yourself, you came home. And you know, when fate strikes, fate strikes.
It's my perspective. Relationships are the whole point of life. You know, if you look at people that were in prison camps or whatever, or in extreme poverty or whatever, many years later they look back and say, but I was happy because I had camaraderie. I had people. We were all in Auschwitz together, or we were all in the prison over there. But it's that camaraderie, that's humanity, that is so important. Okay? But the thing about it is, you know, it's all about the process, in my opinion, like so many things in life. If you're in school and you want to get an A grade, you know, talking about the A grade, worrying about it, thinking about it, that's not the thing. Just focus on just studying the process to get the A grade. And if the process is good and sound and solid, the results usually take care of themselves. So, kind of just paraphrasing what you're saying is, you know, the whole idea of just process.
Well, I think that's what she was kind of saying. What do you do? You get back out, you want to get back out and stay out, but you're not making a commitment
How do you
to.
keep yourself motivated to
Yeah.
not stay inside?
You
and
want
just-
to be able to still have the experience of meeting people and still having fun, no matter what that calls for. Just get out and have fun.
Well, sometimes when people stay in, it could be for many reasons. Perhaps they are depressed, they've experienced broken hearts, and they're withdrawn. You know, so in my opinion, I feel that they should reach out with friends, and also there are, like Sanjay said, there's internet dating. You know, try to go out, meet people, just to meet people, and join social clubs.
You made a very good point about what type of person you would be looking for, spiritual.
Yes.
You know, he wasn't looking at the outside package, he's looking at the inner package as well. So I think that's an important thing. Remember, that's the key right there. A lot of times we do judge a book by its cover, however you should, and I'm really good at that. But sometimes you have to open up that book, read it, and see what's inside of it.
I will say one of the things that in today's fast-paced society of texting and no one wants to make time and make an effort to get to know anyone doesn't make it any
So
easier.
impersonal.
Well, very personal, and people really want to have a 10-minute conversation with you, and through that determine if there's chemistry, if you're your soulmate or not. Candidly, it doesn't always happen that quickly. The best relationships I've ever had in my life, using my own examples, my own experience as examples, are ones where I met someone who was not enamored by them initially, took the time to get to know them, started to see the personality characteristics, their own idiosyncrasies, found those qualities endearing, and started to then over time and through spending time and seeing them more frequently, get more acquainted and familiar with them, and then develop an attachment and a feeling of love. So certainly not instantaneous. Something that would maybe even start out as a friendship and then evolve over time into something much deeper. And that's really what I would prefer. So I think the love at first sight and the initial spark of, wow, I've seen this guy and his chemistry right away, I think it's overrated.
Share your comment first.
No, I don't have a question. I have a friend who was playing Words with Friends on the internet, and I guess there's apparently some sort of button where you can have conversations with people. Well, she's been playing this game for over 3 months with this guy just named Mike the Firefighter. He lives in Seattle, she lives here in Frisco. And they just started conversations, and then it went into text messaging. And she's an old-fashioned girl and didn't want to give out her phone number or anything like that. So about a month ago, she got brave and gave him her phone number, and he actually called. And they've been communicating for like a month, and then they were ready to move on to the next level. She had never met him. She had only seen like 2 pictures of him. So they developed this whole relationship without even meeting, had connected emotionally, spiritually, just, you know, a great friendship. And she went there last Saturday to meet him. Unfortunately, his plans fell through and he couldn't come here for 4th of July. She spent the week there. It was the best vacation of her whole life. This woman has traveled all around the world, and this was the best vacation of her life because she developed this relationship just over time.
And they moved together, he took her around and introduced her to some of his friends. It's like a Cinderella story.
Best time.
I have had an experience like that where a few years ago I actually met someone by coincidence online. She lived in another country. We spent probably a year communicating online, and as you put it, really got to know each other, likes, dislikes, preferences, visions in life, beliefs, and so on and so forth. Before I got to meet her in person, and then it was really exciting to get the opportunity after that time to travel to the country and meet her in person, and meet someone face to face for the first time that you feel like you've known for years. You know so much about them, and you're so connected. You know about the family. It's the first time you're meeting them. So it really, to my earlier point, starts off getting to know the person in the depth, away from the superficial looks and other things. And that kind of comes in later. I think it's, so something like that develops naturally and organically, I think is a beautiful thing. But fortunately, people don't always make the time and effort to invest to let that happen. It's like speed dating. You go on a date, and in 30 seconds, I want to know everything about you. And you're a good person, a bad person, you have a criminal record, what's your religion, what's this.
And I checked your credit score too.
Pardon me?
And
your credit score, luckily mine is good, so I think I'm okay with that. But they want to know all those things. They want to know everything about you in 3 minutes, I'm exaggerating, 3 days maybe, so they can determine, is this a potential candidate for Mr. Right? Well, isn't it a little early to tell? People will tell you, even if they've been married for 10 or 15, 20 years, they're still getting to know that person. 10, 20, 3 decades later, you're still learning things. You don't
You
need to make
invest the
time.
time, that person becomes more attractive over time as well.
I agree.
But often what we
That's a
see,
great story, though.
often what we see today is if you're in your mid 40s, late 40s, and you're divorced or single, when you meet a possible suitor, the first thing they want to know is, and the first thing they tell you is, don't waste my time. I'm just looking for somebody to get married to. How am I going to get married to you?
Then you don't even talk to that person.
That's what happens when you go on plentyoffish.com on the internet to meet people.
How do you know about this?
And you read their profile, the first thing says, don't waste my time. This is not a booty call. I have no time for the
Yes,
I
yes.
have no time for booty calls.
Booty calls can be fun.
Well, if you have high blood pressure, maybe it could help.
I don't know. I still think that what both of you are saying is absolutely correct. However, I still think that we still believe that it's a man's world. Even though it's really not anymore, it hasn't been for a long time, I think society still thinks that it's a man's world.
Yeah, and it goes back to how you define a man's world too. You know, if you look at the typical thing is, you know, who has access to the power positions in business and government? Yeah, that's the criteria that it is a man's world because very few high power positions are by women. So in that respect, yeah, it still is a man's world. But look at where it was 10 years ago, 9 years ago. So I think the trend is in a more proper way. But if you look at it that way, it still is a man's world.
But a woman out there, nothing without a woman or a girl.